Hello Internet, and welcome to the PDH Portal, where I discuss PDH decks. This weekend in the United States, we get to celebrate Labor Day. For those of you that live outside the US, Labor Day is a federal holiday celebrating workers of the nation and is a day for those that break their backs to make this country work. As we watch this idea crumble in front of us through hundreds of Labor Day sales that force retail workers and others to work on their national day of rest, and the erosion of labor protections, I thought it would be fun to put together a Labor Day theme deck. I like to call it Labor Day. Since this country is a wonderful melting pot, and since we never get to pick our coworkers, this deck is headed by Transguild Courier, partially for the fact that he's 5 colors, so we kind of get access to all of the workers across the multiverse of Magic, but also kind of for his flavor text, and it was hard to get 100 good cards for this deck. His flavor text reads, "Reluctant to meet face-to-face, the leaders of the 10 guilds prefer to do official business through a go-between, immune to bribes and threats." It's just like a true leader to send someone in their stead, especially in a game where someone is always aiming to take out the messenger. So I'm going to pretend that he is an eloquent golem chosen to be the voice of his people. Running 5 colors can be difficult, so we have to have a variety of lands that also sound like great places to work. The dwarves, yearn for the mines. So not only do we have Dwarven Mine, which is a job producer as it creates a 1/1 red dwarf if it enters untapped, but we also include Urza's Mine as a monument to the man trying to replace us all with robots. Urza. We don't run any other Urza lands because that just wouldn't be fair to the workers. The ores mined in the mines head off to the Great Furnace, and then get shipped off and arrive at the Waterfront District. From there, the metal heads to Night Market to be sold, purchased by the Riveteers, who live in their Riveteer outlook. Then it gets put into the Racer's Ring to give us something to watch on the weekends. For those that feed us, we have a variety of farms to choose from. For those that want an idyllic life in the Shire, we have the Shire Terrace that can be paved over and replaced with another basic land. If you like trees more, you can work at the Tinder Farm, which is essentially a forest, but we can clear cut it to provide red and white mana. In these tough economic times, our remote farm is unfortunately on its last legs, but it's still there. It enters with 2 depletion counters, and you can tap it to remove 1 to give you 2 white mana, a small burst of light before it inevitably disappears. Finally, we have the Golgari Rot Farm, which when it enters removes another land since it's a bounce land. And since it comes into play tapped, you can't use it right away, but it gives us a green and a black when we tap it. Just hold your nose as you clock in for the day. The best way to get ahead in Magic is ramp and draw cards. The Mind Raiders get to skim off the top and steal from the cash register, but you get a treasure if one of its pirate or rogue friends is also on shift. Fertile Ground adds an additional mana of any color when you tap the land it's attached to, and the Market Festival adds 2 of any combination of colors. The fruits of our labor help everyone. Famished Foragers lets us discard a card for 2 and a red to draw a card, and Tin Street Market can give a land the ability to tap to discard and then draw a card. The one and only union I could find in the entire multiverse, Union of the Third Path, lets us draw a card and gives us life equal to the number of cards in hand. Remember to support your local unions. The multiverse is staffed with a wonderful cavalcade of people that just want to clock in, clock out, and spend time with their families. Without them, all of this would grind to a halt. We have a handful of dwarves that spend their time mining and forging, with the Urabor Flamesmith dealing damage whenever we cast an instant or sorcery spell, Pardic Swordsmith working harder when we randomly discard a card, and then the 7 dwarves, who used to be much more efficient before the other 6 dwarves in his crew were let go, and then he was expected to do the work of everyone else. The Repentant Blacksmith is a 1/2 human for 1 and a white with protection from red. Not always useful, but he gets his job done. The Village Ironsmith is a human for 1 and a red with first strike, but he's got a temper if people are lazy, and if people don't cast spells during their turn. Skirk Prospector likes to give us mana if we sacrifice another goblin. It's just too bad everyone wised up to his backstabbing and he's the only goblin left. Farmers are the backbone of any economy, and the same can be said of the multiverse. Elvish Herder is an elf for a single green that can really inspire other creatures to give it their all and give them trample. Elvish Hunter can keep the herd safe by giving another creature a stun counter. The Tireless Hauler is a 4/5 human werewolf for 4 and a green that has vigilance, and who also at night protects the farm just as viciously as a wolf would. Civic Gardener is a human for 1 and a green that, when he attacks, gets to untap a creature or land. So he's kind of like that coworker that doesn't always make the greatest decisions. Diligent Farmhand, on the other hand, quits his job at the drop of a hat to put a land on the battlefield tapped. Shipping is a thankless job that keeps workers on the road or seas for months at a time. And we need to talk about the men and the women that make trade happen. Boarding Party is a human pirate with haste and cascade. They're expensive, but they always make sure to go above and beyond. Gorehorn Raider is always happy to help after the work is done, dealing 2 damage to any target as long as they enter after the combat is over and you've attacked. Brazen Buccaneer tries to make sure we're all meeting our mana quotas and explores when it enters. If our top card isn't a land, he works harder and gets a +1/+1 counter. Fathom Fleet Cutthroat does not suffer fools or OSHA violations. When they enter, they can destroy a creature an opponent controls that was dealt damage this turn. I like to think he doesn't kill them, he just makes sure they get the proper time off of work to heal. Science has shown that pets make us all happier, and that is even true at work. I want to give a special shout out to those animals that get us through the workday, be it a shop pet or your cat or dog if you work at home. Miner's Guidewing is that bird that got stuck in the building and it's just flying around. It's a 1/1 bird for a white, and it has flying and vigilance. When it dies, it gets to explore the greater hereafter. Don't forget Foundry Screecher, a bat for 2 and a black that lives somewhere in the rafters, but for environmental reasons, we're not allowed to relocate it. The city never sleeps, and it would fall apart without its citizens working. Civil Servant is a cat citizen for a green and a white, just trying to get people involved in local government and make a difference. So when she attacks, she can tap another citizen you control to give her +1/+0 and lifelink until end of turn. Girder Goons, High-Rise Sawjack, and Plasma Jockey help make sure that we have places to work and live. Girder Goons creates a 2/2 black rogue creature when it dies, keeping a steady supply of workers going for construction. High-Rise Sawjack swings around the high-rises and helps us build up, and protects us from the dangers like birds with his reach ability. And he gets a +2/+0 buff when blocking things in the sky. Plasma Jockey just wants to make sure that everybody gets out of its way while it's working, as he values safety and wouldn't want anyone to get burned by its plasma welder. Wrecking Crew helps round out our construction workers by clearing out the site before others can work. The Snooping Newsie is a human rogue for a blue and a black that mills 2 cards when it enters, and gets a +1/+1 buff when you have 5 or more mana values in your graveyard. The sacrifice of others will make him stronger, and they help make sure that the truth gets out. Speakeasy Server, on the other hand, is the therapist of the city, keeping everyone well hydrated. When it enters, you get 1 life for each creature that you control. Now, there is plenty of work that needs to get done. Homestead Courage is a sorcery for 1 white that gives something a +1/+1 counter and then vigilance until the end of turn. Rush of Adrenaline gives our workers a boost of productivity, and Foundry Helix can be used to get rid of an obstacle in our path. And by obstacle, I mean someone else's creature, and by getting rid of, I'm assuming that means accident in the factory. Blacksmith's skill can help someone out when they need it most by giving a creature hexproof and indestructible. However, some of us think he's siding with the robots, since artifact creatures get an additional +2/+2 until the end of turn. Heavy Fog can give us a day off of work and prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to you, and Whisper Soak Cloak is that comfy throw that you like to wrap yourself in and hope that the world forgets that you exist for a few minutes. And if they don't forget you exist, you can always fake your death to get out of work. And of course, you can always call someone to cover your shift with Involuntary Employment, a sorcery for 3 and a red that lets you take control of someone else's creature, untap them, and give them haste, and make them work for you instead. And, since this is a paid day off, you get a treasure. Now, I make no guarantees about the strength of this deck, but I hope everyone enjoyed this little experiment to just kind of throw together a little themed deck for Labor Day. In all seriousness, thank you to everyone working day in and day out just to keep everything moving in the face of constant, innumerable obstacles. Remember, workers' rights are human rights. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at this fun little deck. If you're interested in viewing the deck list in full for some reason, I have a link to it on the PDH Portal website in the video description. If you have any interesting deck ideas you'd like to see for decks, please leave them in the comments, and check out the website, thepdhportal.com, for other decks. As always, Goodbye, Internet. Hello again, Internet. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. And if you have not already, why don't you go ahead and subscribe? The button's right there below the video. It greatly helps the channel, and it lets you know when new videos are posted. Since you're here, why don't you check out another video? One is suggested here for you, so go ahead and click on it. But no matter what you do, thanks for watching. Goodbye, Internet!